It's time. It's finally time to talk about this. It has been long enough since I have seen The Last Airbender in the movie theater that I have composed myself and can now think about the movie without wanting to kill somebody. I've said this before in another video. Avatar The Last Airbender. Here's season 1. Woo! I own it! My wife loves me. Avatar The Last Airbender is the single best animated piece of episodic fiction I've ever seen, and as far as television shows, number 2 on my list of all-time favorites, right behind Star Trek The Next Generation. So that'll probably give you a little bit of an idea. I've talked about the... Watch it. It's on Netflix. I think all 3 seasons now are on Netflix. Watch those, streaming or not. Rent the discs. If you like, the first couple that you see, I highly suggest going out and just buying all 3 seasons on DVD because it just gets better as it goes along. So anyway, the show is fantastic. The movie, on the other hand, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was cautiously optimistic that M. Night could do a good job. I understand the time constraints. You've got the 7-hour and change first season. 10 episodes of 23, 24 minutes, right? Trying to condense that into less than 3 hours, ideally, to make a movie. Some things are going to be left out. Not all things can be included in that. You can't just condense everything and make it go and fast forward. I understand there's some stuff that was supposed to get left out, but to fail so miserably, to entirely miss the point so greatly, it has convinced me that Minaj Knight Shyamalan is in fact mentally handicapped. Not only is he mentally handicapped, his ego prevents him from seeing how wretched of a filmmaker that he actually is. He suffers from the same condition that Uwe Boll does, in that he's so incompetent about writing and making these films that he sincerely thinks that he did a good job. Every time I hear him interviewed, I just want to punch him right in the face. Even Michael Bay realizes that he made some mistakes with Transformers 2. Even he admitted to, added too much of this, too much of that, kind of getting away from the character. Fine. He understands, alright, it got away from me. Even Paul Schumacher realized the mistake he made when he made his, Batman Forever, or Batman and Robin, or I forget, what atrocious Batman movie. But Minaj Knight Shyamalan, no. He thinks he really did a good job. There was a huge controversy with the casting. There's a whole, website, the race bending. The only, without including actually, never mind, because Cliff Curtis, I think, is Kiwi, so he's a native New Zealander. The only large population ethnic group that wasn't in the movie, as far as I remember, were Native Americans and Eskimos. And I don't think it was the movie studio's diabolical plan to just exclude Native Americans from the cast. I would have been so happy if they actually cast the Water Tribe as Eskimo, Inuit, or other Native American that could just, superficially look like they're Eskimos, because they're so closely related you can't really tell the difference. Just put them in the right clothes and everybody's fine. They're, very close cousins, so I would have been pleased as a punch if they made the Water Tribe, Eskimo or Eskimo-ish, other Native American. But they didn't. They made them white, pale white, which on Earth anyway, Scandinavians and Northern Eurasians, or my ancestors are from the Ural mountain regions in what's now northern Russia or something, are equally as adapted in living in cold, northern climates as the Eskimos are, even though they have a lighter skin. So making the Water Tribe, light white, Scandinavian-esque, it doesn't bother me too much. And as far as that's all I'm going to say about that. And people totally get why the movie was bad when they say, "Oh, the acting was bad and wooden." Bull fucking shit. Just like the Star Wars prequels, the atrocious lines of dialogue that these actors had to spew out, nobody, you can give Anthony Hopkins these lines to say, and they're not going to sound good. Why? Because they're written atrociously. Inhumanly atrociously. No one speaks like that. It's so awkward and horrible. There's no actor on earth, let alone a child actor, that you give these lines to and they're going to sound good. BS, the acting was when you know what? If I was to remake the movie, just write the script, shot for shot, line for line from that, and maybe have it with an intermission in the middle, and keep the cast that's in the movie. I am more than sure, I'm positive that each of those actors could do a fine job bringing those characters to life with the appropriate lines of dialogue and the appropriate direction as to what their character is supposed to be like. I'm sure they could do a fine job. But I am convinced now that even though Minaj says that he has seen the entirety of the series, I am positive that he did not understand what he saw. It totally went over his head, or he missed the point, because each of the characters that was portrayed on the screen so astoundingly different than what's actually in the series. And Noah Ringer, the main, who played Aang, he did a fantastic. I was totally with it. I totally accepted him as Aang. This guy could totally pull it off. Give him the right lines of dialogue. He needs some more, jovial moments. But besides that, his presence on screen was just like, he's Aang. I believe it. Katara, oh my goodness. Now, I'm convinced that the actress that they got to play Katara could totally pull it off. Totally pull it off. He didn't give her anything to do in the entirety of this series. You spend so much time with Katara in the group, she's the other main character. Aang and Katara go hand in hand. You spend more time with them, she spends more time talking, I think, than he does. You totally understand all the emotions and the journey from child to woman that she goes through in the series. She's the other main character. Most of the story revolves around her and what she's thinking, and they didn't give her anything to do in the movie. Nothing to do. She's just there. Oh my goodness. What? Such a waste. Such a waste. There's such an important scene. One of the ones that the first things that Mike and Brian, the creators of the show, came up with was Katara fighting the waterbending master in the Northern Tribe. It's sexist rules in the Northern Tribe, so she can't learn how to fight with using waterbending. So she actually challenges the waterbending master, knowing full well that she's going to get her butt kicked. And it's one of the coolest moments towards the end of the first season, and one of the first ideas that Mike and Brian actually had, and that they said in an interview. And that whole part missing in the movie. Why? Well, because you can't give Katara too many things to do. It's all about Aang, right? Oh my goodness. So aggravating. So aggravating. That even, granted, it's going to be different. The movie is going to be different than the show. To totally miss the point, it's beyond me. It's so beyond me. Oh my goodness. And the more I think about, I was calm at the beginning, and now I'm crawling out of my skin. I've been working on, if I was going to make a movie out of these, which episodes do I leave out, which parts do I condense, and which things do I take shot for shot, line for line, and it would be a fantastically better movie than this piece of shit that Shyamalan put forth. He changed so many things. And there's some superficial stuff that he didn't need to change. The nature of firebending, oh, they have to take fire as a substance and then redirect it. No, fire is an electrical phenomenon. You use it's energy. They move energy around and they manifest it in different ways. That's the nature of firebending. Energy is just, around us all over, just like airbending is. That air is just around us all over. You don't have to go look for it. So to slit the Achilles tendons of the firebenders that way by making them more... there is no benefit to doing that. Why would you make such a drastic change to the nature of firebending? It doesn't add anything to the... Oh my god. Now I'm just pissed again. So, as far as my review of the movie, it's a... Fuck you, Shyamalan! I'm never gonna see another one of your movies again. You are a fucking retard, and you're so egotistical you can't see it. Ugh. Ugh.